Hey guys, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge, and welcome to Bunches of Lunches. This week we're celebrating a birthday. That's right, my oldest son Jackson is turning 8 years old, and in honor of his birthday, I'm going to be letting him pick out all of the food and the themes for all of the lunches this week. So all of the lunches this week are going to be super awesome and fun, but they're going to be really easy to put together. And without further ado, let's get on to the lunches. Hey guys, and happy Monday! For today's lunch, I'm going with a Lego theme. Jackson is a huge fan of Legos, and I've been wanting to do a Lego themed lunch for a long time. Now, because I wanted to do something extra special for this lunch, I actually started by making the sweet treat last night. So to make these treats, I started by finding some Lego silicone molds. That way I could make treats that looked exactly like real Legos. Now, I found these on Amazon and they weren't expensive at all, but I wasn't exactly sure if these molds would actually turn out nice or not. They're pretty detailed. So for this, I picked up 4 different colors of these candy melt wafers, which is basically colored white chocolate. So to make these, the first thing I did was to pour about half a cup of these wafers into some little microwave-safe bowls. I just popped each one into the microwave for about 45 seconds or until the chocolate was nice and smooth. Next, I added the melted white chocolate to a small Ziploc bag. I then snipped the tip off of the Ziploc bag and I very carefully filled each little section with the melted chocolate. So as I was filling these up, I definitely tapped and tapped and tapped just to make sure to get out as many of those air bubbles as I could. And then for all of these mini figures, I decided to use just yellow. Now, of course, if you wanted to get really fancy, you could use multiple colors for this, but since this is my first time using this pan, I'm just gonna keep it simple. And then I placed both trays in the refrigerator so they could set up and get nice and hard overnight. So now that brings us back to today's lunch. Now, there's actually a lot of different ways to make a Lego themed lunch, but for today, I decided to make some Lego Lunchables, pizza Lunchables to be exact. So to the lunch boxes, I'm going to start by adding 4 different silicone liners in the main section. And in the first section, I'm going to add some crackers. But since I'm going with a Lego theme, instead of using round crackers, I thought it'd be really cool to use these club crackers. So the next thing I'm adding is a little bit of pizza sauce. And I'm putting this in a separate container that will have a lid. That way it won't spill all over our lunchbox. Next, I'm going to add some slices of mozzarella cheese, and I tried my best to cut these exactly the same size as the crackers. And then in the last section, I'm going to go ahead and fill this up with mini pepperonis. And you really do want to get the mini ones here. So when the kids build their Lunchables, they will look like Legos. So when it's lunchtime, the idea is that they'll take the crackers, add a little bit of the sauce, top that with the cheese. They can then place the pepperoni on top, and just like that, they'll have some pizza Lego Lunchables. So now that the main course is done, I'm going to move on to some fruit. I think some watermelon will be perfect. So to make this watermelon look like little Lego pieces, I'm just trying my best to cut them into little rectangle shapes, a little bit smaller than bite size. Next, I'm going to take one of my reusable straws, and I'm going to very carefully press 2 little circle shapes into each piece. So I'm not actually going all the way through the watermelon, I'm just kind of pressing it in halfway. Now I am just loving the way that these are turning out. I think they look a lot like Legos, and this is actually really easy and quick to do. So now I'm adding these little watermelon Legos right in this section, and I'm going to add 1 single Lego food pick right in here. Next, I'm going to add a few extra thick slices of cucumber, which I ended up not cutting into Lego shapes just to save on time. Now, so far this lunchbox looks awesome, and I have a very special drink to go along with it. I know Jackson is going to be super excited to see these. I'm going to be using some of these orange flavored juice boxes, and I'm going to try my best to make them look like Legos. So since these juice boxes are mostly orange, I'm going to take a little bit of orange construction paper, I'm going to cut out some rectangle shapes, then I'm going to tape them around each little juice box. And I'm going to draw on some circles with my Sharpie. This is a really quick and easy way to make juice boxes look like Legos. And to make lunch extra fun, I'm going to give each kid their own reusable silly straw to use. I just picked these up at the Dollar Tree. My kids love silly straws and they definitely make lunchtime a lot more fun. So then last but not least, it's time to check the Lego chocolates. But I don't know, you guys, I'm hoping that these turn out nice. I'm going to very carefully loosen them from the pan and hopefully they'll look like Legos. These did not come out super easy, but I did eventually get them all out of the pan. And even though they didn't come out perfect, they're pretty close and I think the kids are going to love them. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the little minifigures and check it out, you guys. For my first time ever using these pans, I'm actually really happy with how they turned out. So now to send these chocolates to school, I'm going to carefully fit them into these Lego-shaped treat boxes. I found these at the Dollar Tree. And it looks like I'm going to be able to fit just 2 little pieces into each container. And there you have it. There's everything in the Lego themed lunch. Hey guys, and welcome to Tuesday. So today's lunch doesn't have a theme necessarily, but it is going to include a lot of Jackson's favorite foods and a very special sweet treat as well. So for this lunch, I'm starting with the main course first. Jackson picked out this mandarin orange chicken from Trader Joe's. Now I think this tastes a lot like the orange chicken you might get at Panda Express, but it is a lot less spicy. Now when you buy this from Trader Joe's, it comes fully cooked, but it is frozen. So to make sure it's nice and crispy, I'm gonna pour the entire bag into my air fryer. Oh yes, and I am gonna go ahead and take out those little sauce packets because I definitely don't want to cook those. That would be a problem. So while I have the chicken in the air fryer, I'm going to add the sauce packets to a bowl of warm water so that they can defrost. So while that chicken is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and make the special treat. I'm going to make something that is becoming kind of a birthday tradition at our house, and that is birthday fairy bread. Now I actually made this for Lily's birthday just a few weeks ago. It came out super cute, and if you missed that video, I'll go ahead and link it down below. Definitely check it out when you're done here. First, I cut all of the crusts off of the bread, and this is some really nice and soft white bread. Then I'm adding a very thin layer of butter to my bread. Then I'm going to use my number-shaped cookie cutters to punch out the other slice of bread. So these are going to end up being sort of peekaboo window fairy bread sandwiches. So of course, since Jackson's turning 8, I'm using the 8 for his. For Lily's lunch, I'm adding a 6. And since Mackenzie is going to be 9 years old for just a few more weeks, she's getting a 9 on her bread. For today's lunch, I'm going to use these sprinkles because these sprinkles are the same colors as your basic Legos. So there's red, blue, green, and yellow. I'm adding a thin layer of these sprinkles. I'm going to top it with the other slice of bread, and our fairy bread is good to go. So now the orange chicken is done and I've taken it out of the air fryer. But before I add it into the thermoses, I do want to go ahead and add all of the sauce and then mix it all up. I want to make sure all the chicken is completely coated in that sauce. Now moving on to the fruit. For today's lunch, Jackson chose mango cubes, so I'll add those in right here. I'm also adding a little happy birthday pick into here. And then to go along with this, he also requested corn. So I have just a little piece of corn on the cob, which fits perfectly in the lunchbox. And now that I filled all of the lunch boxes, I'm going to need to put the snack in a separate container. For this lunch today, Jackson chose Pirate Booty, which is like a cheddar popcorn. I'm just gonna add a handful or 2 to my reusable snack bags. And then to finish off this lunch, Jackson requested chocolate milk for the drink. Hey guys, and welcome to Wednesday. Now, as you can see, for today's lunch, I'm going with a Cars theme, and that's because Jackson is a huge fan of cars these days. So I asked Jackson if he could have any kind of sandwich, what would it be? And he said his favorite sandwich starts off with some white bread, then it would have a little bit of mayonnaise, but no mustard. Next, he'd like to have some turkey slices, but instead of regular turkey, this is smoked turkey, so it's got a really nice smoky flavor to it. And then for the cheese, he requested the slices that are both yellow and white, which is the Colby Jack cheese. And then you guys, that's it. No tomatoes, no lettuce, nothing else. This is Jackson's idea of the perfect sandwich. So now I'm going to go ahead and close these up, and I'm not quite finished yet. To make these sandwiches a little bit more fun, I'm going to go ahead and use this new car-shaped sandwich cutter I recently got. This cutter is a really nice size. It fits almost the entire piece of bread, which really means it's just going to be cutting off the crusts. It's not going to waste a bunch of the bread, but it is going to leave us with this really fun car shape. The next thing Jackson requested for his lunch today is apple slices. And to make these extra special, I'm going to use my knife to create a checker pattern on the top of the apple. And here's a tip, you guys. Right after I carve the apples, I do like to soak them in a little bit of water mixed with lemon juice, and that helps keep these apples fresh in the lunchbox. Okay guys, now I did go ahead and add extra cheese to the top of the sandwich, just to make it look a little bit more like a car. Jackson also requested some cherry tomatoes for his lunch, so I'm adding a handful right into here. Now for my girls, they don't really like tomatoes, so in this section of their lunch boxes, I'll be putting carrots instead. I'm going to add this cute little racing flag pick into the tomatoes, then I'm going to add the apple slice into the other section. Now for Jackson's special treat today, he requested chocolate pudding, but instead of making this from scratch today, I'm just gonna throw in a snack pack. Definitely a birthday treat. And I'm also going to be sending just a few mini marshmallows for him to add on top of the pudding. So it'll kind of be like a s'mores pudding. And then for the drink today, I'm adding in some apple juice with the little Cars topper to go along with our car themed lunch. Good morning guys, and happy Thursday. So for today's lunch, I'm not going with a specific theme. Jackson requested this lunch to be all about his favorite foods. Earlier this week, Jackson and I sat down with my little lunch planning menu, and he actually went through the entire list and picked out all of his favorites. For his main course, Jackson picked out mac and cheese. And right now the kids' favorite kind of mac and cheese is this Annie's Deluxe. So all I have to do is add these little shells to some boiling water, cook them for about 7 minutes, and then drain the noodles. Now of course, since this is a deluxe mac and cheese, I don't have to add any milk or butter. The cheese sauce is already ready to go. I just have to add it in and mix it together. Now you guys, for this lunch today, I'm not just making a regular mac and cheese. I'm going to be making what I like to call mac and weenies. That's right, I'm going to be cutting up a few hot dogs to go in the mac and cheese. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried this, or if you have another thing you'd love to add into your mac and cheese, let me know what it is. I know some people like to add ground beef or crumbled up bacon. So now while everything is still piping hot, I'm going to add the mac and cheese to the thermos first. Then I'm going to add the little hot dog pieces right on top. I'm going to get those lids on there, and now it's time to move on to the fruit. So for the fruit today, Jackson requested apples again, but I'm going to prepare them a little bit differently this time. I'm going to start by using my little apple slicer to not only core the apples, but slice them all at once. So now I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of saran wrap, and I'm going to very carefully bring the apple back together, almost as if it hasn't been cut at all. I'm going to squeeze this apple together as tightly as I can. Then I'm going to wrap the entire apple as tightly as I can with the saran wrap. Keeping the apple together like this is definitely going to help it from turning brown. And to go along with the apple, Jackson also requested some almond butter to dip the slices in. So I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of these little separate containers. I find these at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of almond butter in here. These little containers come with their own lids. That way, hopefully nothing will get spilled in the lunchbox. Now is the time I would normally add some vegetables, but for this lunch today, Jackson requested double fruits instead. And for the second fruit, he requested a banana. So to get this banana to fit in the lunchbox, I did go ahead and cut off each little end. And using my food safe pen, I went ahead and wrote a happy birthday message directly on the banana. I think that is super cute. I know it's going to make him smile. Next up, Jackson also requested some chips, but instead of adding regular potato chips, I'm going to go ahead and add this veggie version. These are the pizza flavored ones, and they really do look and taste a lot like Pringles. Now, since this is his birthday week, I'm also going to be throwing in a cupcake. Jackson has been asking me for these cupcakes for a while now, so I know he's going to be excited to see these in his lunch today. Of course, these are the special Christmas cupcakes. And surprisingly, these little cupcakes fit perfectly into the lunchbox. For his drink, Jackson requested fruit punch. I'm adding this dino topper to match with our dino napkins. And then of course we have the thermos full of mac and weenies. And there you have it. Hey guys, and welcome to Friday. Now, as you guys can probably tell, Jackson and I are actually at Epcot for lunch today. Now, this year we started a tradition where on their birthday, the birthday boy or girl gets to skip school and they get to spend the day doing whatever activity they want. So for Jackson's birthday, he requested a trip to Epcot. So this morning we got to Epcot bright and early, and the first thing we did was a little bit of shopping. I wanted to get Jackson a special hat for his birthday, so after a couple of different tries, he decided on this one. After that, we had a fast pass for Jackson's absolute favorite ride in all of Disney World, which is Test Track. Remember how I was saying that Jackson loves cars and he loves Test Track? He loves getting to design his own car, and he comes up with some really interesting looking cars. So now back to lunchtime, we decided to head to the back of the park to the America Pavilion, and we both decided to try the Christmas ham. So basically this is kind of like Christmas dinner on a plate. So we have a little scoop of sweet potatoes. There's also a couple slices of ham with an applesauce gravy, and then there's also a few green beans on the side. So after lunch, we decided to get some Christmas treats. Right now at Epcot, they have a lot of different Christmas cookies available, so we decided to pick up the Mickey Santa cookie. Jackson picked out a chocolate peppermint sundae. Definitely a special birthday treat for sure. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video.